Hi, everybody. I'm Michael Bruno, back again with another wonderful interview with a lovely, lovely star of stage and screen and television, the lovely Patti Murin. Thank you for talking to us, Patti. It's a joy and a pleasure to meet you.
Oh, so nice to meet you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, Patti, for some people out there who don't know who you are and your illustrious career so far, give us a little background history for us.
Well, I'm probably best known for originating the role of Princess Anna in Frozen on Broadway. But I also have been in a lot of Hallmark movies, lots of Christmas movies. I was on Chicago Med for a couple seasons. And I also have played a Glinda in the Wicked tour and done a couple other Broadway musicals.
And were you on any of the tours that came through Madison with the national
I
tours?
was not. No, I was on the more
Oh.
West Coast leg of the tour. Yeah, I've actually never been to Madison, so I'm very excited.
Oh, well, we're going to be excited to have you. Hopefully, the weather will even out by the time you get here, and it will be
Ugh,
not this false, winter, early spring
I know.
craziness.
I know it's madness.
And now, you actually met your husband during was it a tour or was it a show, a Broadway show?
No, we actually had known each other for a long time, but we started dating while we were doing Shakespeare in the Park in Central Park, a musical adaptation of Love's Labor's Lost, and we just sort of were like, oh, okay, we kind of like each other as more than friends, and we just started dating, and it was one of those. It was not one of those like love at second sight. It was a slow burn, but honestly, I kind of feel like that's the way to go.
Well, it must be working out wonderfully for you.
Yes, it is. It is. We have two gorgeous daughters, and he's currently starring as father in Ragtime on Broadway. So we're two actors, just
Oh,
juggling it all and somehow making it work.
that's great. God, the Ragtime, what a great show. That's
Yeah,
so great.
it's
Excellent.
fabulous.
So tell us a bit about your early history. Like, where were you born, and how did you get involved in wanting to do musical theater?
I was born about an hour or so north of New York City, and my parents were just Broadway lovers. No one else in my family is a performer. I don't know where that came from with me, but
Wow.
they just loved going to see shows and loved putting on cast recordings, on the vinyl. I remember my dad's record cabinet of like Jesus Christ Superstar and Godspell. And whenever there was a musical movie that was airing on TV, he would show it to us. So it was just always around. And my first Broadway show that I saw was Cats, because I'm a child of the
Ah.
80s. And somehow I still wanted to, I was still interested. Um, and I started, doing like the school shows and musicals, and I just loved it. I just really loved it and found that I had a natural talent for it. And so when I graduated from high school, I went to Syracuse University and got my BFA in musical theater. Then I moved to the city and have been pounding the pavement ever since.
And done some amazing shows. Like you said, you were Princess Anna in Frozen, which probably everybody recognizes you from. And then, but your first show, was it Lysistrata Jones? Was that your first Broadway show?
No, my first Broadway show was Xanadu, based
Oh,
on the
Xanadu, that's
1980
right.
movie with Olivia Newton-John. Yeah, uh-huh. And that was my first Broadway show, and it was great. It was a scrappy little show, and at the Helen Hayes Theater, and I had to learn how to roller skate for real, not just like rolling around in my driveway. And it was just great. It starred Carrie Butler and Cheyenne Jackson and Jackie Hoffman and
Ah.
Mary Testa and the late Tony Roberts, and so I was like sort of like I was wide-eyed and just didn't want to mess up,
Sure.
and so that's the group that I sort of learned my Broadway etiquette from, and my like how to lead a company. You learn from Carrie and Cheyenne how to lead a company and whatnot. And so when I did do Lysistrata Jones on Broadway a few years later, I feel like I had a great base and education to sort of to be that person.
Cool. And then when did you do your first cabaret show for the cabaret series? How did that evolve?
Oh my goodness. Let me see. I did my first solo show back in like 2015, 14. It was either 14, I think it was 14, at 54 Below in New York. And I was like,
Yay.
okay. And I can't say that it was a one night only thing. I was so nervous. I can't say that I loved it at the time. I think it was just so much. Because it was a one night thing, it was
Mhm.
so much
Mhm.
preparation and one go. But then after Frozen, and after the pandemic and stuff and having children, I had to make somewhat of a pivot because my life was not is starting to get back to that, being welcoming of 8 shows a week, but
Hmm.
I had to find other stuff to scratch the performing itch and fill my cup that way, but that wouldn't take me away from my kids for very long. And honestly, I did another couple 54 below shows and I was like, this is kind of great. And so I've really been sort of doing the circuit now for probably a little over a year, maybe not too long, but I'm loving it. I'm loving, the trips. My MD and my accompanist, Will Reynolds, I mean, he's incredible in his own right. He is a composer, he is a music director, he's an arranger, he does it all. But we also have been friends since 2010. And so we just go on our little adventures together, to West Palm Beach or to Indianapolis, and we're coming to Madison. And
And
and so
is it just the two of you?
it is just the two of us. Yeah. Yeah. Cause it's a little more of like a, sort of like insight into life and career and motherhood. And I'm not very good at holding back. I'm sort of a truth teller just naturally. And so, yeah. And
That's a good
so,
thing for a performer, right?
yeah, yes, I think so. I like to think I sort of take a little bit of I demystify a lot of the glamorous, you know, shades that people think are over performers and whatnot. I kind of walk in and take that right down.
And you also cut an album with your husband, is that right?
We did, yes, we did when I was pregnant with our second child. Yep, because in the album photo, in the album photos for the cover and everything, I was pregnant, and you couldn't. We like artfully, it was sort of a drapey dress, and we kind of hid a little bit. And that same child is turning 3 literally today. Um,
Wow.
and so, yeah, we had a great time. We had a great time picking songs and working with Robbie Rozelle over at Broadway Records, and just like recording them. I'm actually in our home recording studio right now
Nice.
because I also narrate a lot of audiobooks. That was another one of my
Oh.
pivots that I kind of did. So if anyone recognizes my voice, it might be from some audiobooks you've been listening to. But we recorded it here in our home album because it was still 2022 pandemic,
Right,
and
right.
it was great. And now we have this finished product that's like so special to us.
And will you be performing any of those songs in your cabaret show?
Let me think. Well, a lot of them are duets, so I won't be doing any of those.
Okay.
Yes, I will actually. A song, "Everything Changes" from Waitress is on my
Nice.
album, and that's because it's about having a baby and how within 1 second you are literally a different person. And so that is one I love to sing.
And so tell us a little bit more about are these all going to be Broadway show tunes, or will you have a little mix of like contemporary and pop jazz standards or classical in there?
Yeah, we do. We've got a little mix. I've got some Taylor Swift. Sometimes I
Oh,
do some Billy
yay. Oh, my
Joel.
husband will love
Sometimes.
hearing that.
Oh yeah, yes,
He's a
some Taylor
Swiftie.
Swift. Yep. Got some June Carter Cash, some old Carter family songs, some Gershwin standards. Of course, some Disney. But sort of, I like to we do some of the Disney songs in different ways. And so it really sort of runs the gamut. I like that because unless I'm doing like, oh, a night of Disney or like a night of Gershwin where people know
Right.
that they're coming to see like one specific genre, I really like to sort of to have a range because I feel like that's what more people respond to, like it's for everyone to have a couple songs that are like, oh, I love this one, even if they don't know the other ones. They're just, I feel like more just ready to listen.
Very cool. Have you done any of the 54 Below shows with Christine Petty?
I have not, but I am such a fan.
I'm a big
Such a
fan.
fan.
Big. She
Yeah.
she did the cabaret series a couple years back here in the Capitol Theater, which
Oh,
you're going to be performing in. And what a treat! What a treat! Just
oh, I bet
the
she was a
theater.
hit.
Oh, she was a hoot, and she wasn't feeling well, but what a trooper! Yeah, I know.
It,
She went on.
it's amazing, honestly. Like it is truly phenomenal what people can do when they're like, I have to do this. You know what I mean? Like I must this the not just not to perpetuate the show must go on, but like when you're doing a
Right.
solo show, that's it. You are it. And so it's really phenomenal to me to see what people can muster up.
Yeah, and and especially like she does like a series of one nighters. Like you come into town, you do a dress rehearsal, you do the show, boom, you go to sleep. and you're on the road the next day. It's like, it's
Correct.
got,
Yeah.
it's really,
And
really, really.
I would bet the audience had no idea. I would
No,
bet they had no
no.
clue.
No,
Yep.
if I hadn't interviewed her, I never would have known. It's like,
That's
you had,
incredible.
she's kind of, I'm a little bit stuffy here. My throat's not, then she'd break into one of her routines and it'd be like, okay.
It's honestly wild because I've done shows feeling not good, like really not good. But then when I watch the videos afterwards, I'm like, I sound totally normal. And so it's a really good lesson, I feel like, to say, even if we feel like,
Mhm.
it feels so bad, but it does not sound like we think it does, I'm still learning.
And that's one of the amazing things about performance. Like, you hit that stage or you hit that thing, and all of a sudden, whatever physical things you're dealing with, like it just kind of magically,
Yeah.
luckily, kind of goes away because you're in your entertainer mode, which is
Yeah.
pretty amazing.
Yep. And especially honestly with a solo show like this, like with a cabaret show, is because you realize that it's not just about what notes can I hit, how high can I belt. It's really about the performer, the person, the
Mhm.
stories, the way they sing the songs. It really is. Again, I'm still learning so much, but it's been such a wonderful revelation to be like, oh, fine. Like people aren't coming to be like, oh, I wonder how she sings this song. It's like, oh, I'd really like to hear her, and I'd really like to hear some of her life experiences that go along with some of the songs she's singing. So it's a real lovely, lovely concept.
And did you yourself write all the little in between patter between the songs, or did you have somebody that kind of like edited it all for you?
No, I cannot be edited.
Oh.
I'm the kind of performer that I need to have like a watch on stage because I have no idea how much time has gone
Ah.
by. So I've either been there for 10 minutes or like 3 hours. And so I need to keep myself in check. And like because Will and I have been friends for so long, we really like it, we have so many conversations, and so I it can kind of go in any direction. Like I have standard, like this is what I usually talk about, but there's times when I'll think of something, I'll be like, oh my gosh, like totally forgot about this story. I should tell you this. Which is what I like because each audience is different and they each
Right.
respond differently to things. And you catch on sort of right away what you think is gonna like, and especially with one night, you don't have night two to like revise,
Exactly.
you really have to kind of be in tune and be like, okay, what are they gonna want to hear about?
Very cool. Have you ever done any stand-up?
No, I'm terrified. I'm
Oh,
terrified.
now, isn't that interesting? 'Cause I was talking to Clay Elder, and he came to
Mhm,
town, and he is
mhm.
like this amazing comedian and has these great stories. And it's like you should be doing stand-up and improv because I was
Yeah,
almost more interested in hearing his stories, and then he'd
yeah.
sing a song like, "Get back to that story. That was so much fun."
I know. I feel like the same way. I am so much better with off the cuff quips and humor. But anytime I even think about having to sit down and write a whole set of, I'm like, no, absolutely not, absolutely not, because you can't save yourself with a song if a story doesn't land in stand up. In cabaret, you can.
That's very, very true. That's very. Although you do the first mashup stand-up comedian. It's like she does comedy and she does a song.
I mean, it's true. It's true. It would definitely break the mold. That's for sure.
I love it. Is there anything else that we should know about the upcoming show that could entice people to come and see you and hear your stories and your music?
Yeah, I think it's just like a very like warm and open and honest and funny night with me and with Will. I think it's sort of like, even though the songs generally, I pick from the same pool of songs when I'm going, when I'm going to each city, it everything is a little bit different. And like I said, I'm kind of I cannot edit. I am the one who will say something and be like, oops. And I feel like those moments are the ones that people kind of live for. And it's a collection of, some really funny stuff, but also some really stuff mental health and some more serious stuff that I have dealt with and whatnot. And so it really, I think it kind of hits all the targets for a very well-rounded evening.
Perfect. Well, we can't wait to welcome you to Madison for the first time. We can't wait
I'm
to
so
see you,
excited.
And he's going to be in 2 weeks. You'll be here on the 23rd. So
Mhm.
enjoy your daughter's birthday. enjoy the time you have, and we look forward to seeing you in Madison at your wonderful cabaret show here at the Capitol Theater.
Thank you so much. I can't wait to be there.
Great. Thank you, Patti.
Yay.